How's it, grasshopper? Today's trigger time. We are going to set up the case trimmer and trim some cases. Case trimming is very important. Number one, it gives the consistency in the case length, and that which is equal to the accuracy. And number two, it conforms to the minimum chamber specifications of your firearm. And if the cases exceed that, then you are going to have a big trouble. Before we are trimming the cases, safety, 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 safety. Do not smoke while you are reloading. Do not drink while you're reloading, and wear safety glasses at all times. I say again, no smoking, no drinking, and wear safety glasses while we are reloading. Here we have is a Lyman trimmer. I had this for very long time, and there currently is trimmer pilot is inserted, which is a 45 caliber. We're going to trim the 45 cases, and the back here you will see that I have also other pilots, and this one is for 44. You gotta have a correct trimmer pilot, if not your case will not be uniform. Make sure that the pilot is in place in the cutter head and tighten with the hex key. And also you will require chamfering tool and vernier caliper. Once the cutter pilot is inserted, you have to adjust the coarse cutting and the fine adjustment cutting knobs. First, what you do is insert the 45 case into the universal chuck and then lock it in place. Again, this is for the coarse adjustment, and this is for fine adjustment. Fine adjustment, the knob you have to turn towards you to get a minimum length. Away from you, it will not cut. So once the case is in, you will push all the way to the case. The cutter will touch. The cutter head will touch the case mouth, and then you will push forward the coarse adjustment knob and lock it in place. Make sure it's tight. And now the fine adjustment, I do not tighten after it's adjusted. Right now is at taut, so that I could turn it. At here, what I do is I'll do the initial cut. And then take it out. And measure it. You gotta remember that the 45 cases, they are mostly short. Minimum case is 22.75 millimeter, and the longest case that you could chamber is a 22.80 millimeter, and this one comes out to 22.60. So if I want to go down to the 22.50, and this is what I would do. I'll insert the case back into the cutter, lock it up, and I'm going to turn the fine adjustment knob toward me so you will cut it. That's how much I would turn first before I cut it. If you cut it too much, let's say you just turn this much and then you went over, then that case is no good. You gotta start all over. So from here, I have a coarse adjustment knob, and this is fine adjustment knob with the hex keyhole. They're aligned. So what I do is now I'm going to turn toward me. See, as you can see, this is going to cut it, because this is going to go as a space. This gets a shorter, it cuts it. And then if you don't want to, let's say your course adjustment is already minimum length, and you want a longer case, then what you do is you turn the knob, fine adjustment knob, away from you to make it longer. So now I want to make it shorter, so I'm going to turn it a little bit, that much. Now case is turned and cut again. I don't know if you saw it, but there's a piece of the brass came off. As you can see, there's more shiny now than initially. Now I'll measure it. Again, you have to measure the case often. And if this is the case that you want, which is 2250, then this lot goes into 2250 millimeter case lot. Again, most of my cases are short, and you rarely find the long cases. From here, you have to chamfer and to outside and inside, so that when I see the lead cast bullet, of course I have to bell it too, then it will not shear off the lead or the bullet. And that's how you trim the cases. Now we go back to earlier. Now if you want to lock this fine adjustment knob, you could do so. However, I turn it, I do not lock it tight, because if I have to change it again, and then I have to loosen it up and do it again. However, once it's a little bit taut like this, this is RCBS's 3-in-1 case trimmer. The cutting head will trim, chamfer, and rim the case in and out, and universal chuck, so you don't need different sizes of shell holders. This cutter is a setup for the 30 caliber, which is a 308. So let me demonstrate what it does. Again, make sure that the case is aligned, and let the universal chuck holder go, and then start trimming until it doesn't cut anymore. As you can see, it trimmed, chamfered, and rimmed the case neck or the case mouth, all in one. And after this case is done, trimmed, chamfered, and rimmed, what you need is now the flash hole uniformer. This is currently set up for the 308. Now this case is ready to be loaded, primed, gunpowder, and then a bullet. Once the cases has been trimmed, make sure that you mark it so that you know how many times it has been trimmed. Because after the fourth trim, the case is no longer serviceable, because the brass has been thinned out. It is very unsafe to reload and shoot. My reload for the 308 Winchester, it is my accuracy load. I found out that this load every third firing, after the third firing, it needs to be trimmed. So on the fourth trim, this will be discarded. However, if you trim every time that you size the case, then what I do is I discard after the 12th trimming. And make sure you write down somewhere in the box the dates that you trimmed, or mark it with the hash marks that how many times you have trimmed. If not, you're going to have a big problem at the Forster came out with the 3-in-1 cutter head for the popular rifle calibers, and so the RCBS followed suit. However, both companies, although Lyman, does not offer any 3-in-1 head cutters for the popular handgun cartridges. What I would like to see is at least a 38 and a 45. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.